Okay, what's good? What's good is the one, the only, but what do I know? Boxing. It is fight day for Canelo versus Bill. I'm super excited about that, but that's not even this topic of discussion. First and foremost, make sure you guys hit the like button. Make sure you guys subscribe, bro. Man, just subscribe, man. That's the least you can do, man. But check this out, man. I'm coming into you, man. It's like Tank Davis and Shakur Stevenson going back and forth. They're going back and forth on Twitter. Tank recently just made a tweet saying, I think I might go back to 130 after this fight. And Shakur stated, come on, he retweeted Tank and stated, come on, let's do it. To which then Tank said, to show niggas ain't really like that. And Shakur stated, man, I've been like that, you know that. But what they think started it is when Shakur stated, none of these fighters can beat me. I'm ready to prove it. And they just going back and forth on Twitter, man. Let me tell you something. First off, speaking on that, I don't know if Tank can necessarily make 130. I mean, he did make 130 for the Leo Santa Cruz fight, but that was last year. I mean, I'm not so sure that Tank can make 130, but that would be one hell of a matchup. But the thing with Tank is, bro, I don't know if you guys noticed this, but do y'all notice that, like, bro, Tank get into it with everybody that he has, like, that he sparred with, bro. At some point, like, Tank, they get into some type of beef. Devin Haney, Shakur Stevenson. I don't know if y'all knew this, but Shakur Stevenson, Tank brought Shakur Stevenson in for the, I think, was it the Jose Pedraza fight? It was his first title fight. Whoever his first title fight was, Tank Davis had brought Shakur Stevenson in for sparring. All right, him and Tank going back. I will say this. I don't think that Shakur Stevenson, I don't think that they're beefing like how Tank and how Tank and Tevin Farmer's beefing. I don't think it's like that. I think, like, if they see each other, it's gonna be all love. I just think it's like competitive, just a little competitive talk or whatnot. But Tank got a lot of beefs out here, bro. And the sad thing is, that's why I was like so irritated with Mayweather Promotions, because it's like, bro, Tank didn't fight anybody that he was beefing with, but as far as the sparring partners, like Shakur Stevenson, Devin Haney, Montana Love, like, bro, Tank, like, they have had some type of back and forth exchanges at one point. But like, just if we're going off of everybody that Tank is like, Tank don't like anybody. Tank is like the 50 Cent of the lower weight classes, bro. Like, again, I don't think that him and Shakur is like necessarily beefing. Like, I don't think if they saw each other, I don't think it would be no bad blood. But bro, Tank to have beef with Devin Haney, Tank to have beef with Tevin Farmer, Tank to have beef with Ryan Garcia, Tank to have beef with Montana Love, Tank to had somewhat of a beef with Lomachenko, but Mayweather just didn't want that. They didn't want that smoke. But it was just like, bro, Tank done beef with a lot of people, man, and it's like, damn, bro, can we get one of these fights with Tank Davis? That's all I'm saying, bro. Like, bro, it's time we get this fight, bro. It's time we get one of these fights, man. Like, Tank, Rolly Romero, that's another one, and we actually are getting that fight, cause him and Rolly Romero be like, Tank be beefing with a lot of people, bro. Like, that shit is hilarious to me. I never noticed that. Well, I have noticed it, but I like I said, my biggest critic. And here's the thing: I don't think Tank is afraid of none of them. I really don't think Tank is afraid of none of them, bro. I just think that Mayweather Promotions kept Tank from taking these fights. Like Tevin Farmer, Tevin Farmer's a tricky southpaw, but I don't see him beating Tank. I damn sure don't see Ryan Garcia beating Tank. Shakur, that's a good one right there. Shakur and Tank, that's a good one. Devin Haney and Tank, I don't think Devin Haney will. I think that, because the thing about Devin Haney, I think Devin Haney will outbox Tank for sure. But if you notice, Devin Haney makes a lot of mistakes towards the later rounds when fatigue starts to set in a little bit. Not too much. He doesn't get Devin Haney doesn't get too fatigued, but he does get a little fatigued, and that's when he starts making mistakes towards the later part of the fight, and that's why I think Tank will stop him towards the later part of the fight. But who else? Lomachenko. Well, at one point I know for a fact Mayweather Promotions did not want that fight with Tank, and it was even more pettier when Floyd and Tank were not seeing eye to eye. and Floyd had that interview on Showtime saying like, we're definitely gonna match Tank up with Lomachenko, and Tank made a tweet with a laughing emoji. But I definitely know they didn't want no parts of Tank, not want no parts of Lomachenko. And one of my reasons is because they constantly kept saying, well, Lomachenko's getting old, even though Lomachenko was only 33. Lomachenko's getting old, his window's closing, his time is coming up, he's getting old. But then they turned around and fought Yuriorkis Gamboa, which made absolutely no sense to me. But, anyways, Montana Love, who actually fights tonight on the undercard of Canelo versus Bivol. I think he's the co-main event. Him and Tank have had heated exchanges, and Tank even uploaded a video with him and Montana Love sparring and getting the better of Montana Love. Now, of course, you got to take that with a grain of salt, because you're not gonna post everything. Montana Love was just like, why you didn't post everything? Post the whole sparring session. And obviously, when you're sparring somebody of a high caliber, they're not gonna allow you to record. They'll record, but they're not gonna allow you to record or whatnot. So that's kind of like you gotta kind of take that with a grain of salt. Also, another fighter that Tank has gotten to recent issues with, what's the what's the guy's name? The guy that Tank, the guy that fought Danny Garcia, the guy that fought Danny Garcia, Ivan Redcash, that's his name. Tank, they uploaded a video of him and Ivan Redcash sparring, and Tank was beating the shit. I'm not gonna say Tank was beating the shit out of dude, but Ivan Redcash was like, why you ain't post the whole thing? So they got into a heated exchange and wanted to fight or whatnot. I think Tank even got into it with Terrence Crawford at one point. Now, him and Terrence Crawford ain't never sparred, but Tank got into it with Terrence Crawford at one point. Like, bro, Tank be getting into it with a lot of people, bro. Like, now I don't want to see him versus Terrence Crawford, but anybody else, man, let's make these fight, or Ivan Redcash. Ivan Redcash is really not. He's really not relevant. But these other guys, man, let's make the fight happen, man. I mean, it's time to make the fight happen, bro. Tank be getting into it with a lot of people, and the only person we're seeing him actually fight, which I don't really think nobody was clamoring for, but is Rolly Romero. And I think that Rolly, just off of his personality, is gonna sell that fight. I don't necessarily think that it's gonna be it's gonna be entertaining because of their styles. Don't get me wrong, but I don't know if it'll be too competitive. Rolly makes a shitload of mistakes. Winding up with his punches, keeping his chin right there in the air. Like he's very stiff too. Pause. But like, I don't know, but I do think it's gonna be entertaining though. I definitely think, I know for a fact the build up is gonna be entertaining. You saw the first press conference. This is what happens when people get online and they talk all that stuff, but in their face they don't have the same reaction. Tank was pissed, and Rolly did not have that same energy. Like so I have a degree in psychology. I know body language. I know Rolly was not expecting Tank to turn up on him like that. Rolly was he was definitely not expecting that, and Tank definitely did that. Rolly, if you even look, every time Tank was moving, Rolly kind of moved his head back. He moved his head back. He would, and that could just be off of it's nothing to look into it like that. It could just be he's a fighter. Anytime a lot of people, if you don't know, if you jump at a fighter, if they're gonna react. You know what I'm saying? Like, they're a fighter. It's just their reaction. So that's what that could be. But I definitely know that Tank got the better of that, the verbal exchange or whatnot. But man, listen, going back to the initial point, Tank versus Shakur, I would love that. That's something that's worth actually paying for, or at least more than Tank versus Rolly Romero. I would love to see. And all these guys, it's like all these guys are beefing with each other, because Shakur don't like Rolly Romero either. They have a heated exchange on YouTube that was on via Instagram, and they was making fun of the way Rolly was talking. Rolly was like, shut your ass up. And Shakur like, shut your ass up, like that shit. Shut your ass up. That shit was funny. Like, none of these guys like each other. Devin Haney, Ryan Garcia, Tank Davis. It's just none of these guys really like each other. So let's make these fights happen. 135 is stacked. And I think that Shakur can make 135, man. I definitely think he can make 135. But I'd rather Shakur stay at 130 and become undisputed at 130. But let me know what you guys think. What do you guys think about the heated exchange? What do you guys think about the possibility of them fighting, Tank versus Shakur? Like, comment, subscribe. But what do I know?